So without further ado, let's get started. Thank you for being here tonight. We've got a short agenda, committee appointments, COPE, some items that really needed to be addressed sooner than later. Scott's here with us tonight. A little bit of information for you before we get started. If you go down to the bottom where you have your reactions, where you normally have your raised hand, you'll see a green checkbox. Please use that for point of information. And you'll see a red X circle with an X in it that's red. Please use that for a point of order. And that will bring them to Scott's attention so that we can address points of information and points of order promptly. That's greatly appreciated. We hope that that'll make it a little easier. With that, I'll call the meeting to order and ask David to take the roll.
All right, I'll go ahead and start with DLC presidents. DLC 701, Lisa Davis. Lisa Davis, 701.
I couldn't unmute, so yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. 702, Gertrude Nisi Davis. 702, Gertrude Nisi Davis. 703, Jason Sandoval. 703, Jason Sandoval. 704, Latasha Brown.
DLC 704, Latasha Brown, present.
All right, 705, Miche Roy.
She can't find her link and she's having difficulties logging on.
Okay, so we'll circle back to Miche Roy. 706, Olivia Montano.
706, Olivia Montano, present.
Okay. 707, Carol Leonardo Valdez.
707, Carol Leonardo Valdez here.
Thank you. 710, Naomi Musembi Johnson. DLC 710, Naomi Musembi Johnson. Okay, 721, Robert Gilbert.
DLC 721, Robert Gilbert, present.
All right, 722, Maria Blaine.
722, DLC President Maria Blaine, present.
723, Stephen Alari.
Stephen Olay, present.
724, Delion Seacrest.
Good evening, present.
725, Melissa Del Rosario's excuse. 726, Charity Regalado.
Here.
Thank you. 727 is vacant. 729, Nancy Martinez. 729, Nancy Martinez. Okay, 741, Monica Rodriguez.
Here, present.
742, Cynthia Vo. 742, Cynthia Vo. 743, John Turok.
John Turok, DLC 743, present.
Okay, 744, Bill Hall.
744, Bill Hall, present.
746, Jocelyn Odom. 746, Joycelyn Odom.
Excuse me, Vice President Jimenez, Nisi Davis is having trouble with her link.
Okay, we'll circle back, 702. Joyce Odom, okay, moving on, 746, Ramon Navarrete.
I'm gonna make the correction. It's District Labor Council 747. Now Ramon Navarrete present.
Yeah, sorry about that. Thank you. 749, Jerome Washington.
749 Jerome Washington, present.
751, Christina Evitt.
She's coming on, David, if you can hold on, please.
Okay,
Also, David, I was mistaken. Michelle Roy was never sent a link. And she wants to log on, but she needs a link.
The link was reissued to her by IT, so please ask her to check her inbox, spam, or junk mail. It might have gone there.
Thank you, I will.
For any other registration issues, please email them so we're able to continue with the board roll call.
and 751, Christina Evitt, are you on, or we'll come back? Okay, 752, Kevin Healy.
Good evening, 752, Kevin Healy, present.
761, Angelique Moreno.
761 present.
762, Donette Sparkman.
762, Danette Sparkman, present.
764, Jennifer Cordova.
764 here.
765, Leonard Seitz.
Leonard Seitz, 765 present.
All right, 766, Sharonda Ward.
766, Sharonda Ward here.
767, Ben Arriaga.
Ben Arriaga, 767 present.
Okay, 768, still vacant. 769, Daryl Kirby.
Daryl Kirby present, 769.
Okay, 770, Nicole Salavascoy.
770, Nicole Solovskoy is here.
771, Tommy Rico. 771, Tommy Rico. Hold on, Mom. Sorry. Okay, moving on. Absent. 772, Mary Dela Cruz.
772 Mary Dela Cruz present.
All right, 781, Hong Van Nguyen.
781 Hong Van Nguyen present.
782, David Johnson. 782, David Johnson. Okay, 784, Colin Crow.
Present.
Okay. 785, excuse, 786, Teresa Taylor.
786, Teresa Taylor present.
787, Ruth Ibarra.
787, Ruth Ibarra present.
788, Heather Kessler.
788, Heather Kessler here.
789, Eileen Boughton.
789 Eileen Boughton present.
790, Cindy Doyle.
DLC 790 President, Cindy Doyle, present.
792, Jack Dean.
Jack Dean present.
793, David Smith is excused. 794, Francina Stevenson.
Francina Stevenson present, 794.
795, Ruth Kiker.
795, Ruth present.
799, Delon Johnson.
DeLon present.
850, Carrie Riley. 850, Carrie Riley. Okay, Chair is Bargaining Unit 1, Susan Rodriguez.
Bargaining Unit 1, Susan Rodriguez, present.
Robert Holtz, Unit Chair.
Jeffrey,
Robert Holtz, Bargaining Unit Chair. Okay, Karen Jeffries, Bargaining Unit Chair.
Bargaining Unit 4, Chair, Karen Jeffries, present.
Brad Willis, Bargaining Unit 11 Chair.
Brad Willis is present.
Robert Vega, Bargaining Unit 14 Chair.
here.
Everybody's
on board.
Bargaining Unit 15 Chair Eric Murray.
Eric Murray, present.
Bargaining Unit Chair 17 Vanessa Seastrong.
Vanessa C. Strong, present. Bargaining Unit 17.
Bargaining Unit 20 Chair Melissa Vartanian.
Here.
And, Bargaining Unit Chair 21 Bobby Roy.
Unit 21 Chair Bobby Roy, present.
All right, and Bargaining Unit State Bar Andrew Vasic.
Present.
Hi, David. We have a few people that have logged on since you've done roll call. Can you go back for some who are absent? They may be on.
Sure. We'll do Gertrude Davis, Nisi Davis.
DLC 702, Gertrude Davis, present.
Okay. And then Jason Sandoval, are you present?
Hi, Jason Sandoval, DLC 703, present. Sorry about that.
Okay, Michelle Roy, DLC 705.
Michelle Roy, 705, present.
Okay. Naomi Musembi Johnson, DLC 710. Naomi Johnson, DLC 710. Okay. Next absent, Nancy Martinez. DLC 729. DLC 742, Cynthia Vo. DLC 746, Joycelyn Odom. DLC 751, Christina Ebbett. Christina Ebbett. Okay, let's see, moving along. 771, Tommy Rico. I think he was excused, actually. 782, David Johnson.
David said he just sent a registration in right now. I told him to email Michelle. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen.
Okay, so he's attempting to get on. Carrie Riley, State Bar or DLC 850, Carrie Riley.
And David, Wanda Yanez was able to attend, so she is no longer excused, but if you can call her, she can respond.
Okay. 785, Wanda Yanez.
785 present. Wanda Yanez. Can you hear me?
Yes, we heard you.
Okay.
Thank you. 785. I believe that's, oh, Christina Ebbett, 751. Is Christina not on yet, I guess? 751. Wow, there's 48 present. We have a quorum.
Did the executive committee get attendance?
Yeah, you got to call the executive committee.
Oh, that's right. We have an executive committee. Let's see, Vice President Organizing Representation, Annika Walls.
Present.
Okay. VP for bargaining, Irene Green.
Present.
VP Secretary Treasurer, myself, I'm present. President Richard Brown.
I'm here, but I'm not present. I object to this meeting. I am the Local 1000 duly elected president. According to the Local 1000 bylaws and policy file, only I can call board meetings and all daily operations that's been made since
Yes, that
February
actually is
27.
Point of order, that comment is out of order.
We are done with the roll call. We have 52 present. We have a quorum.
Thank you, David. Scott concurs. David, do you have any remarks for tonight?
No, not at this time. Just take advantage. Don't want to take any more time than what we have to for everybody's Monday night.
Okay, Annika, do you have anything for tonight?
No, not at this time.
Irene, do you have anything for tonight? You have to unmute, Irene.
Trying to, you have to understand that sometimes there's a lag time, and no, I don't have nothing to add tonight. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Let's get right into the agenda. Item 1A, the agenda committee members submitted by myself as chair of the agenda committee. So we have Ruth Anderson, Cindy Doyle, Ruth Ibarra, Irene Green, and Karen Jeffries. Do I have a second? I have a second from Teresa Taylor.
Okay, so we've got Annika, and then I got Mary De La Cruz and Teresa Taylor. Well, Teresa Taylor is the second.
Okay.
Annika and Mary De La
Where
Cruz.
is?
Okay. You want to make any remarks before we go to?
No,
Teresa's the second?
I have no remarks to add at the moment.
Okay, Teresa Taylor's your second.
Hang on, you really shouldn't be. Oh, yeah, okay. So just a quick reminder, Michelle is keeping time, so we're on the 2-minute rule for speaking, just so you know, up front. And so Mary De La Cruz, would you please unmute?
Annika, did you want to speak, or were you a second?
Hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, Mary, thank you.
Okay, the problem was that the host was not allowing me to unmute. And when I tried to make a point of question earlier, like Kevin Healy, I was not allowed to do that. And that's concerning to me, because when we're going to have a point of question and we're not being allowed and we're being muted, how does this work?
Remind them about the things at the bottom of
So,
the screen.
Yes, I did do that. I followed. The host is not allowing participants to unmute themselves.
Okay, well, we're working on that.
No worries. So here's what I have to say. I moved to table, I had a point of question. I moved to table point of order. I moved to table and adjourn this meeting till our next regular scheduled meeting. Per policy file 3.2.001 I, this meeting does not qualify as an emergency meeting to have a special meeting. So I move to table this.
Okay, so Mary, you're out of order, and let's get some work done tonight, please.
Yeah, Annika is next.
Annika's next.
So I wanted to add a friendly amendment to some of these committee members. I would actually like to add Eileen Boughton, Tommy Rico, Eric Murray, and Maria Blaine. As in prior conversations, the Secretary Treasurer had reached out and already communicated this with them before this agenda item was written up. So I would love to add those names as a friendly amendment to this agenda item. Thank you.
Did everybody hear Annika? Can I,
Have her repeat the names.
Annika, just repeat the names real quick for everybody.
Sure. Eileen Boughton, Tommy Rico, Eric Murray, and Maria Blaine.
Okay. If there's no objection, they can be added. If there's an objection, then it's an amendment.
Okay, so Scott, do you have the list?
Yeah, 1 second.
So it's Nicole,
Teresa Taylor.
Teresa, Miche Roy.
and
I think
Sharonda.
David was up before
Yeah,
Sharonda.
Dave, I already have David.
Okay, all right. So everybody, please put your hands down for a moment. We've got a list. Miche, hand down, please. We've got you on the list. Thank you. All right, do we have any objections to adding the individuals amended by Annika to? All right, we've got,
Looks like there's objections. That
we
makes
have
it-
objections.
Okay, since there are objections, is there a second to the motion?
Is there a second to
Second.
the motion? All right, David Jimenez seconds.
Okay. So starting a new list on the amendment, Annika's first and then David, and then I got Sharonda and Vega. Okay, oh, they dropped
Go
the
ahead,
names.
Annika.
So just to clarify, I wanted these names actually were discussed by the executive committee and chairperson Bill Hall prior to the amendment being written, and unfortunately in that translation, the names that I'm offering to add now were mistakenly left off of the amendment as written. And so I would like to just confirm that I would like to add, where I am trying to add Eileen Boughton, Tommy Rico, Eric Murray, and Maria Blaine, all of which have been reached out to by our VP Secretary Treasurer, and all who have said that they would love to participate and volunteer their time in this capacity. And so I would love to have a well-rounded group from representing all regions of the state. And that's why I am choosing to add 4 more people to this committee. Thank you.
Okay, David Jimenez is your second.
David, as second, you
Yeah.
speak next.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, I just wanted to echo what Annika had mentioned. We did discuss this as an executive committee, including with the chairperson. And we, at least verbally, were in agreement with Eileen Boughton, especially because she was part of the original agenda committee. And so way back when we had made the decision to empty the committee of the members, I had made discussed with all of you that I really wanted her back, especially because she was part of the original group. Tommy Rico was also discussed with the group. Eric Murray and Maria Blaine, they've all confirmed willingness to participate. These 4 individuals on top of the other individuals do help share or distribute the members from across the state. Just the 4 alone that we presented here are from different parts of the state. And on top of that, it's just, I think, better to have more people present, because this committee sometimes does have to meet first thing in the morning before regular board meetings. So maybe not everybody will attend, but the more people we have on the committee, the more likely we'll be able to have a quorum, because, you know, just like we have regular board meetings and emergency meetings, not everybody could attend on short notice or even with longer notices. So the purpose of having a pretty extensive list of committee members also helps us to make sure that we can have people present during the agenda committees that always meet at least 30 minutes before the regular board meeting. Sometimes they meet and don't address any items because nothing was submitted as an emergency addition to the agenda, but sometimes they may, you know, and so the bigger the group, I think the better, because like I said, not everybody will be able to attend.
Nicole.
So the chair recognizes Nicole. Nicole, were you able to unmute?
Looks like she dropped off.
I got unmuted, not Nicole.
Okay, now I'm
Oh,
muted,
sorry.
unmuted. And can you please stop doing that with the muting? I am seconding Mary De La Cruz's whatever you call it, to add those members to the agenda committee.
It's not Mayor De La Cruz, it was
It-
Annika, and it's
it
already
was-
been seconded.
It was Annika and it's already been seconded.
Okay,
So
but
we're-
can you stop with the muting? Because we're trying to raise our hands and ask questions, and
Raise their hand, they don't.
it's
get
not
on-
working the way that
public
you're
input.
doing it by muting everybody on this call.
Yeah, people get unmuted when they're recognized tonight. So taken into consideration, Nicole, thank you. Did you? So the chair recognizes Mary Dela Cruz.
Thank you very much for recognizing me. I just like to ask that when we do a vote, can we please do a roll call vote? Because I agree with what Nicole just said. This function that you have on the bottom, it's not really working, and to second someone or to have a point of question, it's not working because whoever's controlling does not allow you to unmute, or they're putting down your hand when you want to speak and be recognized. So I'm not sure of this process, but it's not working. Please, thank you.
Can't help it if they can't figure it out.
The chair recognizes Cindy Doyle.
Unmute Cindy.
Who's got control of the mute here tonight?
Yeah, there. Okay, I couldn't unmute 5 times. Okay. So first things first, when we ask for an amendment, which agenda item are we addressing? 1A for agenda committee members?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the first question. Number 2, if you can at least turn on the chat so we can actually do a point of information or a point of order, because we don't know what the hands are for. So that would help us with the parliamentary procedure in some fashion.
Explain again.
Okay, so just to go back, Cindy, so we announced at the beginning, if you go down to where the reactions button is, and if you click on reactions, where you raise your hand, there's a green check, and the green check is a point of information.
Oh, excellent. Well, thank you.
And the-
I wasn't able to get on it first, so thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, well, that's okay. And the red
Red is
X,
what?
the red X is a point of order.
Point of order and point of information. Got it. Thank you so much.
And we're doing our best to watch the sidebar and make sure that we can see them. So right now, we've got 3 hands,
Okay,
2
so-
green checks.
Okay, so who are the, 1 second. So who's the green? So we're going to points of information. Okay, so we're going. So we'll go to the points of information next.
Thank you. So that all the names that were listed is an agenda. It's an agenda
Agenda
amendment
committee?
for agenda 1A item. Is that correct with all the additional names?
Yes.
Okay, so we're now discussing the amendment to 1A. That would be helpful. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Okay, point of information to, I think Elaine Boughton was the first one.
Eileen Boughton?
Eileen,
Yeah,
thank you.
Eileen, I'm sorry, you had a.
I have a question of point of information. I heard David stated that he met and discussed with the executive committee about what he submitted as the original agenda. When was it changed and why? Can you hear me?
Is there a question about this particular item?
Yeah. All right, so I'll address that real quick. When we were putting the agenda together and working on this, David had submitted his motions. He did not submit a motion from the agenda committee. I went and submitted that motion to get it out in a timely fashion. It was brought to my attention that I didn't include these other people, and I was agreeable to a friendly amendment, so that's where we're at.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So I think Sharonda's a point of information, and I think Mary De La Cruz.
So Mary, go ahead and unmute. What's your point of information?
Okay, let's go to Sharonda.
So Sharonda Ward, your point of information?
Hi, my point of information, I'm asking for clarification to these four, and this is just on these four because this is what we're talking about now, but these four, are these four current COPE contributors? Because that's my question. Anybody on the COPE committee, are they current COPE contributors?
So Sharonda, we're not on the COPE first. We're on agenda item 1A, which is the agenda committee.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. We understand. The chair recognizes Ruth Ibarra.
Thank you. First, I want to correct my last name. It's Ibarra. It's spelled wrong on the agenda or on the motion. Second of all, if the friendly amendment has been accepted by the person making the motion, shouldn't it go to a vote, including those names?
No, we debate there was a
board members objected.
A board member objected,
Okay.
so now what we do is we vote on the addition.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, please uncheck yourself as we go forward. Thank you.
Sharonda.
Sharonda, do you need to unmute yourself, uncheck yourself, or do you have another point? All right. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, going back to the speakers list. Cindy Doyle.
The chair recognizes Cindy Doyle.
Maybe she dropped off, okay.
Hang on a second. We have another point of information from Nicole. Nicole, did you want to unmute?
Okay, I just had a question. If you're referring to the person that opposed, are you taking that hand from when everybody put their hands down as an opposed hand?
No.
Okay, thank you. That's all I wanted to know.
Okay.
All right, so we're back on the amendment to add the four names. And on the list was Cindy Doyle.
She dropped off.
She dropped off.
Dropped off. It looks like she's got Mary De La Cruz.
So the chair recognizes Mary De La Cruz. Mary, please unmute.
Thank you for recognizing me. You know, again, thank you for recognizing me. When you called on me last time, the host was not allowing me to unmute when you kept asking me to unmute.
Okay. All right, Mary.
And I don't appreciate the eye rolling, Steve, because if you were not allowed to unmute, there's going to be a problem with the voting.
So Mary, to participate, you need to talk to the motion and not be disruptive. That's being disruptive. So we'll come back to you in a minute. And hopefully you'll be ready to speak to the motion. The chair recognizes Annika Walls.
Hi, and I apologize. Ruth, thank you. Ruth's name is spelled incorrectly. It is Ibarra, and Doyle is E-L, not L-E. So I think we need to correct those two names on my friendly amendment. And I apologize to those two individuals. Thank you.
Steve Laurie.
The chair recognizes Steve Alari.
Stephen O'Leary, DLC 723. I call the question on all matters before the House, and I also will object to any roll call on this motion. Thank you.
All right, there we go.
All right. Second the motion to cut off debate.
Do we have a second?
Looks like Cindy Doyle.
I think Cindy Doyle just seconded.
Okay, 2/3 vote to close debate.
All right, everybody.
So
So,
we all need to put our hands down to vote.
yeah, everybody put your hands down, please. Thank you. We have a list. Cullen, thank you. Steve? So remember, it's a 2/3 to close debate. So all of those in favor of ending debate, please raise your hand. Keep your hands up so Scott can count. And we won't count the interpreters.
Okay, 1 second here. Okay. On page 1.
I've got 33, 35, 36.
I got
37.
31.
Right here. I got 37, 36.
5. Okay, they changed. I got 35. I've got 35.
Okay, we've got 35 to close debate. Would everybody please lower their hands, me included?
Actually, Bill, I think Christina Ebbett is back on, just to make sure. Is Christina Ebbett on? No, I guess she's
Hi,
still having
yes,
trouble.
I just got here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, so those opposed to closing debate.
So we still have a couple of hands up. Francina, Melissa, can you lower your hands for a moment? Thank you. Okay, so all of those opposed to closing debate, please raise your hands.
I got 11. 35 to 11, debate is closed.
All right, so 35 to 11, debate is closed.
So on the amendment.
On to the amendment. So are we voting on?
On adding the
We're
4.
voting on adding the 4,
On
right?
adding the 4, correct.
All right, so hands down, please. Mary, hands down, please. Thank you. We have 2 points of information, one from Miche Roy. Miche, please unmute.
I'm not able to raise my hand. I'm not controlling this. So my question is, how are we running this meeting if some people's are malfunctioning, some are not? And I can't ask the question. I don't understand this point of order situation. So I'm asking, who's running the meeting if we can't ask questions as the board?
Well, I think we found you and you're asking a question now.
Because point of information and we done already went over a whole process. I done missed the whole process because of that.
You got a comment there, Scott?
My only comment is.
Is Scott running is Scott
only a
running
couple of
it?
people
Or
having
are you,
problems. I
Bill?
don't-
You're the acting chair. You said you're the chair. Why is Scott, who is the staff, intervening with what's going on? If it's a point of order, if we're supposed to be able to raise our hands, or either has a point of information, this hand raising function, and then you have somebody vote that we're not going to do a roll call. That's one person. We should have been able to vote whether we had a roll call or not.
Okay, so that doesn't work that way. Steve made his point when he called the question, not for it to be a roll call, so that we could get some work done.
And then we should have been able to vote on that. It's just not, Stephen Alari said, we're not going to do a roll call. That's not how that works. We have 65 other members on this board.
Okay.
There was no motion to do a roll
There was
call
no
vote.
motion to do a roll call at the
Yes,
end.
it was. Mary Dela
Well-
Cruz made a motion to do a roll call for us to do a roll
Yes, there
call.
was a motion. We cannot participate. You guys are forbidding, you guys are violating our rights to participate. This thing is not working. I keep trying to raise my hand. I can't. I keep trying to unmute myself. I cannot. We need the roll call votes. Who's running the show?
You
It's
just,
not-
you just unmuted yourself and started speaking.
After 20.
Please.
No, because it was
This-
my turn 15 minutes ago.
Okay.
No, it
so-
was my turn 15 minutes ago, and you're just now unmuting me. This is ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Okay. We're not,
Roll call.
we're not,
vote. Roll
we're
call
not-
vote.
Roll call vote.
Roll call votes.
who is that?
I can't tell.
Is that? So please be respectful. Most people seem to be able to use the functions just fine. I'm seeing points of order, points of information up here. We have currently
Point of order and 4 points of, well, point of order dropped off.
our point of order dropped off. So now we have 4 points of information.
Now there's the point of order again.
Point of order's back. So we are watching this. We can see when people are putting their hands up or down or using the X or the check. Please, let's go back to a point of order is about the process. A point of information is current on how you need to vote. So,
Is a question.
or a question about what we're doing in order to cast your vote. So let's go to our point of order, which is Ruth Ibarra. So Ruth, please unmute.
Hi, when we do the second, I can't see the full screen, or like we have to go through different pages. Can we just unmute and have whoever's gonna second, just allow us to unmute for that process, just so we know who's saying second and that there's an actual second, instead of, you know, you telling us that somebody put a sign up. I think that's gonna be a little bit more beneficial because we can't see everybody at the same time. So
Okay, so
that's a request.
I understand. So I am okay with everybody being able to unmute themselves, Lisa, so long as everybody's respectful, raises their hands, uses the X in the check, and follows the process. But if we're going to talk over each other, then that's not going to work. So
That goes both ways, Bill. So sometimes you're making snarky remarks to folks and that are necessary. So I think you also need to kind of be cognizant of how you're responding to others. Thank you. I will mute myself.
Mary De La Cruz for point of order.
Mary De La Cruz has a point of order.
Thank you for recognizing me. I'm trying to be as professional as possible here and courteous. I will tell you that I did at the beginning, way before Steve Alari, I said, because of these problems, can we please have a roll call vote? And people were muted. Nobody could second, even though people wanted to. And that was like, how far are we in? 30 minutes now, but you didn't acknowledge that, Mr. Hall, but you were very quick to acknowledge Steve Alari's, no, we don't want a roll call vote. And I agree. This is not a Steve Alari meeting. This is a 65 board of directors meeting. And I'm
Okay.
just,
Mary,
please acknowledge my
Mary-
request for roll
If they
call
wanna
like
make
you
a
did,
motion, the
Steve.
first word
Thank
out of
you.
their mouth should be, I move. If they don't say I move, they're not making a motion.
all right. So please understand, Mary, so to help you be successful here, to make a motion, you must say, I move. So this is from the parliamentarian. This is why Scott's here, to assist us in this so that we're effective. So if you want to make a motion, you have to say, I move, in order for a motion to be on the floor. So with that,
One of Ruth Ibarra with another point of order.
we have Ruth Ibarra. So please unmute Ruth.
Sorry, I forgot to uncheck it. My
That's okay.
apologies.
Thanks. So Mary, I'm going to come back, but I'm hoping that we're going to move on and be productive. So please unmute, Mary.
Thank you. I would like to move to have a roll call vote because I mean, and I appreciate you educating me. If I'm not saying it right, it doesn't nullify what we're trying to do because of some people in a timely manner can't say anything. I just move that we have a roll call vote so that we can get accurate tallies. And that's all I have to say. Thank you for taking my voice.
Mary De La Cruz, this
All
is
right.
Melissa Canyon,
Whoa,
Chair for
whoa. Okay, no crosstalk, remember? If we're going to crosstalk, we're going to go back to muting everybody again.
I'm just seconding the motion. That's allowed.
Okay, but the motion was out of order. The motion needs to be made when there's a motion on the floor to move. So that motion was actually out of order.
It'll be in order, but she's being recognized. She raised for point of order. She doesn't get to make a motion on a point of order. If she wants to make a motion, raise her hand. We'll get to her once we get to the points of information.
All right. So
But I've had my checkbox, Xbox up for a long time and you keep going back to the same people. Can I be recognized?
who's this?
This is Melissa Vartanian, Chair for 20.
Okay, yeah, give us just a second. We'll come right back to you. Okay, stay on. Really straightforward, people. If you're going to make a motion, you make a motion not on a point of order.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So if you're doing a point of order, that's a question. So if you want to make a motion, you raise your hand, you get in line, and you make a motion. So let's go back to Unit 20.
This is Melissa Vartanian. I make a motion to do a roll call vote.
I second it.
Who seconded?
Who was the second?
Mary De La Cruz.
Okay.
All right, Mary.
It's not debatable, takes a majority vote.
It's not debatable. It takes a majority vote. So would everybody put their hands down, please?
Point of order, Mr. Chair. My red button's been up. Point of order.
Oh, I didn't see that. Good.
Okay, Steve, go ahead.
The question on all matters before the House has already been called. You can't make other motions, and it was already voted upon. You can't make other motions after the debate on all has already been closed on all matters before the House.
He's correct, except for a motion for her, the form in which the vote is to be taken. That's a problem.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
What's that?
You can't do any more amendments and you can't do any more debate, but a motion to establish the method for taking the vote is still in order.
Okay, all right. So Steve, we can't make any changes or amendments, but a motion as to how to vote is actually in order. So go ahead and put your X down again, Steve. And then
Who's the other X?
that's what I'm looking for.
Long venue.
I've had my check mark up for a long, long time.
Is that where others before?
So we have Hone,
Koloskoy.
Van Wyn.
Thank you, Mr. Hall, for acknowledging me. So as far as Mr. Alari's motions, I actually have concerns about it because he's calling for, two separate things. One, to drop the roll call vote, and also
Hone, you're actually out of order on this. I'm sorry. So let's go ahead and we're gonna move on. So we have two.
I'm gonna step in because I'm speaking to the manner in which we are doing the vote. So with that, I am supportive.
It's not a debatable motion. It's not a debatable motion at this point. So there's nothing to discuss here at the moment, Hone.
But Mr. Burns did state that when it comes to the matter of the vote itself, that is still something to be discussed, and that is what I'm speaking to.
No, there's no debate. it's a vote, and I'm trying to get to the vote, but I've got four more points of information. So
Let's do this. First of all, there's one more point. On the points of information, if it's related to the motion to, for the roll call vote, leave it up. Otherwise, take it down. And once we resolve whether it's going to be a roll call vote, if they still have another point of information, they should do for it.
okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. All right. So, Hone, please drop your point of order at the moment because it doesn't apply here. So we have currently 4 points of information. Do they have to do with taking the roll call vote? If they don't, please put your point of information down.
And once we're done with this vote, they can raise it again.
Yeah, and then when we're done with the vote, you can raise your hands again.
Chair, can I be recognized? This is Cindy Doyle, DLC 790, point of information.
Hang on, Cindy, we'll get
I'm
there.
waiting as well.
If you've got your check up, we're gonna go down through the list right now. So I have one from Miche. Miche?
Okay, she's dropped off. Go to Cindy and then Nicole.
All right. The chair recognizes Cindy Doyle.
For clarification purposes to know what we're exactly voting on, because Steve Alari said all matters before the House, is that including more than just agenda item 1A or any motions made, amendments made on it?
No.
No.
The amendments to 1A and 1A.
It's the amendment to 1A and 1A only.
Thank you for clarifying.
You're welcome. Nicole, please unmute.
First of all, I was the first person that had my check mark up, and I see that you continue to call on the exact same people. Now I need to know, please be quiet, sir. I'm not speaking to you, speaking to Mr. Hall. Now I would like to know exactly what it is we are voting on at this moment right now, because the confusion here is idiotic. So what am I voting on right now?
Okay, the current vote on the floor is whether or not we're gonna have a roll call vote.
On the motion to close debate.
On the motion to close debate.
I want a roll call vote. I second, I motion, I do whatever. Somebody's already brought it to the table. Somebody's, excuse me, I'm speaking. Excuse me, I'm speaking. I don't interrupt you.
Now you're out of order.
Excuse me. No, you're out of order. I'm speaking. This is my turn. Do not mute me.
Point of order. This is disruptive and out of order.
How are you?
Kevin, please don't speak over anybody, Kevin. Again, I'm going to go back to, if we're not going to have an orderly meeting, people will be muted. It's unfortunate. It's already 7:26. We haven't even gotten through the first motion of the night. So with that in mind, all hands down, please. Nicole, you might as well uncheck your box. Put your green check down, Nicole. Robert, hands down, please. So there we go. Thank you, Robert. All right. So now we're on a roll call vote. It's a 2/3 vote. All those in favor of a roll call vote, please raise your hand.
And they declare this is, yeah.
Scott's just confirming.
I've got 25 yes.
We've got 25 yes. Please put your hands down. Thank you very much. I still see hands up. Huh? Lisa, can you clear all hands? Thank you. All
Excuse me,
right.
please. Sorry, this is Christina DLC 751. Can you
Yeah,
please
Christine.
mark it as a yes? I was having difficulty with the I was having difficulty with my screen. Thank you.
Okay, we got you, Christina. So it's 26 yes. All those opposed to ending debate, please raise
No,
your
no.
hand.
Roll call vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. All of those opposed to a roll call vote, please raise your hands. You good, Scott?
I got 27, 26 to 27.
David Johnson voted twice.
I'm only, who are they saying voted twice?
Who do you say voted twice?
David Johnson voted twice.
Correct.
Yeah, he voted for yes, roll call vote.
Well, he's allowed to change his vote. If he changed his vote, then it's 25 yes, 27 no. Motion fails.
So it's 25 yes, 27 no, motion fails. Would everybody please lower their hands? So now we're going to
vote on the amendment.
The amendment. All right, so now we're voting on the amendment offered by Annika Walls.
2 points of order.
We have 2 points of order. Mary Delacruz.
Thank you for recognizing me. My point of orders, my concern that the votes are not accurate. Thank you.
Noted. Next one.
Miche Roy, please unmute.
Thank you for recognizing me. Did anybody ask Mr. Johnson, did he change his vote instead of it being Mr. Scott Brown's opinion or whether he changed his vote? It's just automatic. That's why we're having problems with this hand raising function.
Okay, all right, so we've heard what you've said. And what I'm going to go back to is this. It's 25 to 27, or it was 26-26. Either way, the motion would have failed. So it didn't change the motion. Thank you. So on the amendment, all those in favor of the amendment, please raise, Wanda, Steve, put your hands down. All right, there we go. All those in favor of the amendment, please raise your hand.
Seven yes.
Thank you very much. Please lower your hands. We have 37 yes. Please lower your hands, everybody. Can you clear? Go ahead and just clear everybody, Michelle.
Those opposed to the amendment?
All right, everybody. So showing no hands, all opposed
To the amendment.
to the amendment?
Six no, amendment passes.
All right, by a vote of 37 yes to 6 no, the amendment passes. Clear hands, Michelle. We're going to clear all hands. All right. On agenda item 1A, approval of the agenda committee. All those in favor, please raise your hands.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, everybody, please lower your hands. Michelle, if you could clear. We still have hands up? Oh. Okay, we'll come back to them in a second. Why don't I see anybody? All right. All those opposed, please raise your hands.
No, motion passes.
So by a vote of 40 yes to 8 no, the motion passes. Thank you very much. Please lower your hands. I still see hands. Thank you very much. The chair calls on Steve O'Leary for agenda item 2B.
Stephen O'Leary, DSV 723, co-chair. I move item 2B.
Second.
Was that Cindy who seconded?
It sounds like Jerome Washington was the second.
Yes.
Thank
I
you,
was gonna
Jerome.
second, but that's okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
All right, Steve, you want to talk in your motion?
Yes, I thank the board for the appointment as chair of the COPE committee, and I've recommending the appointment of the folks listed on the agenda item, the representative from all the way down in San Diego, LA, Central Valley, Sacramento, Northern DLC as well. Everybody is a member of the COPE. They are all COPE contributors. We have representatives from Unit 1, 4, 17, 20, and 21. I think it'll be a very good committee. I recommend this group to you and urge a yes vote. Thank you.
You have one point of information.
We have a point of information from
Sharonda.
Hi, Sharonda, please unmute, ask your point of information.
Hi, yes, I'm going back to my original question from earlier. I just wanted to make sure that anybody that is being a part of the COPE committee, new and otherwise, is it in the policy file that it indicates that they should be active COPE contributors, because this is a voluntary fund?
Yes, and Steve addressed that in his opening remarks, saying every one of them was a COPE contributor.
Okay, that was my point of information. That's my question I was asking. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Would anyone?
Bill, this is Stephen. Can I add something too, please? I'm sorry.
Yes,
there was one member of the committee who's not on this list, but they're already currently on the committee. Then EB from DLG 769. He was still on the committee before, and so I didn't have that name on there. I didn't realize at the time, but so there are 11, with myself, there'll be 11 members of the committee. Thank you.
You're welcome, Steve.
no one else.
Jerome, do you want to speak to this as a second?
I just think that it's important as a public sector union that we be involved in politics, and this gets us back to doing that work. So urge a yes vote.
No one else? Oh, Ruth.
The chair recognizes Ruth Ibarra.
Hi, I just wanted to make sure that, you know, the folks that are on this committee are well-rounded and will be giving reports to the board on who they're electing. And I'll go further into the other agenda items, but it seems like these are folks that I hope they're are active in their DLCs and are moving union values and not just a political party's values, but actual working class union values. Thank you.
Thank you. The chair recognizes Jason Sandoval.
Good afternoon. I would like to add a friendly amendment to add 2 more names to this list from Southern California and the Inland Empire. And that would be Eugene Record and Amy Valdez, V-A-L-D-E-Z of DOC 703.
I second. Friendly amendments, be accepts and there's opposition.
Steve, do you accept the friendly amendment?
Jason, they're committee members, they're contributors now.
I believe, let me double check on the list. I know that Eugene is.
Okay.
I have to enter a first name right here. Okay. Let's see. Stewart, DLC. Does it give a COPE status? Oh, you know what? Let me pull up my member list real quick. I'm sorry.
If he's unable to do it, you can make him subject to verification of status.
Hey, so between Jason and Steve, if you guys are willing to work this out, we can subject those to verification.
That sounds fine. Thank you.
Jason, you okay with that?
Oh, please. Yes, that's fine. Thank you.
All right. So
2 points of information.
yeah.
1 point.
No, we have 2 points. So I'm not sure who's up here first, so please don't get offended. Cindy has a point of information.
Oh, Lord.
Yes, we're on a second amendment now to the same item. Item 1B for 2B, sorry, Steve Ilari. He actually stated that we wanted to add 1 name. That's an additional amendment. And then Jason Sandoval created an additional 2 names.
No, that's not accurate, Cindy. So what Steve was bringing to everybody's attention was there was 1 remaining member on the COPE committee who was not on.
So clarification, we're saying that these are not replacing everyone. These are additional names then. Is that correct?
Yes, that would be correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Eileen was next.
Eileen Bonton, you were next. Please unmute.
Hi, thank you. I just thought I heard Steve O'Leary call EB a he. She is a veteran and she is a she.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I did call the Member Resource Center before this meeting to find out, because the first meeting we had in December, EB wasn't there, so I was trying to communicate, but we couldn't get connect. Sorry about that. But
Thank
yes,
you.
EB. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
So that's it. Now there's 2 who want to debate. Oh,
Eileen, go ahead and put your checkbox down, please.
Does Jason have anything else he wants to say?
Jason, do you have anything to say as far as the motion? No?
I did confirm on the last membership list that those 2 names that I mentioned, Eugene Record Jr. and Amy Valdez. They are both COPE contributors.
Okay, thank you. Annika's confirming that as well here in the room.
Are there any objections to?
Are there any objections to the amendment? Seeing no objections,
Okay, go for the vote on 2B.
all in favor of 2B, please raise your hands.
Yes.
Go ahead and please lower your hands. I still have a couple of hands. There we go. All right, seeing no hands, all those opposed, please raise your hands.
No, motion passes.
With a vote of 30 yes to 15 no, 2B passes. Congratulations to the new members of the COPE committee. We'll move on to item 3C, 30 to 15. We'll move on to 3C. This chair recognizes Steve Alari.
I move the recommended action for 3C.
Second.
Seconded by Jerome. Steve, you want to speak to your motion?
Yes, this is motion to create a procedure for making contributions from COPE. In the past, it's been traditionally just the president or the board itself. It's a very rare occasion making contributions for campaigns. This sets up a process where the COPE chair, working in partnership with our staff who work on strategy with different campaigns, will make recommendations to the four officers as well as the board chair, and then by majority vote they can make contribution up to the legal limits for constitutional officers, legislative candidates, CalPERS races, initiatives, recall campaigns, independent expenditure campaigns that have been endorsed by Local 1000 or the SEIU State Council. If a majority of the officers and board chair don't approve something, it could come to the board for a vote. Also, it does have vision that the board, if they want to, by a majority vote, can also make political contributions. This opens up, has more representation than we've had in the past for making contributions, and I would urge a yes vote. Thank you.
A point of order from Bobby. No, he dropped off. Never mind.
Okay.
You've got
the chair recognizes Jerome as a second.
As I stated before, politics matters. It's important that we are involved in this process. And this sort of streamlines how we do donations for candidates and campaigns. So I support the motion.
Okay, Ruth Ibarra.
The chair recognizes Ruth Ibarra.
Thank you. So I just need some clarification here. So the COPE chair, in partnership with staff, why does staff get to decide what we want to propose to political contributions to statewide officers and the board? I think there's a process already in place, and it should just go to the board to decide what contributions should be done. Can you speak a little bit to that, Stephen?
Mr. Chair, can I answer the question?
Yes.
Yes, in the past, the political staff has made recommendations to the president because the staff is working with different campaigns. They know which races are critical races where, a contribution could make a difference in the race to support our endorsed candidates. So that's why I've included their in partnership with them so they can give advice. Doesn't mean they're going to make the recommendation. Well, they'll part of the discussion, but of course, we're a member-run union. It would be the chair as well as making the recommendation to the officers and the board chair to make that decision. And just getting their input that they're part of because they know the strategy in different campaigns where there's races where.
I would like to make a friendly amendment to remove staff. If that's already part of their job, it's not necessary to be in the language.
Okay, she can make that amendment.
Okay. Steve, do you accept that as a friendly? Steve, do you accept that as a friendly amendment?
Based on the way she said it, I'll accept it.
So I just want to clarify.
I'm still work with staff anyway, just it won't be in the motion.
So let's, Scott's just going to clarify for everybody real quick so we all know what we're working on.
Okay, so unless there's a sorry about that. I forgot there's a microphone in the room. So unless there's objection, the amendment would strike the words "in partnership with staff," so that the first paragraph would read, "The COPE chair will propose political contributions," and the rest remains the same.
Yes.
Okay, any objection to that amendment?
So Steve, you accepted that?
Yes, based on, we're
Okay.
still going to work with staff, but I understand. For the language, yes.
All right, so just so people know, I still have one point of order, a point of information, which I'll get to in a moment. We have a list going, so please lower your hands.
Well, they don't need to lower their hands. We'll just go to the point of information. Oh, okay.
Well, okay.
I have the list.
Okay, you have the list.
Yeah.
So the chair recognizes Susan Rodriguez.
Hi, Susan Rodriguez, Chair of Unit 1. Thank you for your recognition. I have a question in regards to when it says the COPE chair. Does that mean the COPE committee, or will it be the COPE chair that's making the recommendation to the executive committee? Or is it the COPE chair in concert with the COPE committee making those recommendations to the executive committee?
Can I answer, Mr. Chair?
Yes, Steve, since you wrote this.
Yeah, it would be the chair, because we have to move quickly on contributions. We have the primaries coming up. We have the CalPERS race coming up. And so it wouldn't be able to get the committee together, to get all 13 people together, call the meeting, and to make individual contributions for the 80 assembly races, 40 Senate races, plus the constitutional officers. And that's why I'm still going to, even though we're taking out in partnership with the staff, we're still going to be working with our staff. And it would go to the officers and the board chair who would make the approval.
One more point of information. I don't see who it is.
Yeah, it's Susan. Susan, can you put your checkbox down, please? If you got your question answered. All right, super, thank you.
Okay, so going back, you had people drop their names. So going back to the list, Bobby Dalton was next.
So we're going to go back to the list. Bobby Dalton, please unmute.
Thank you. My question was answered in debate.
Okay, next would be Jason Sandoval.
Jason Sandoval.
I don't believe I had my hand up. I'm sorry for this motion.
Okay. And then the next on the list was David Jimenez. David?
Let me lower my hand. Wasn't sure if I was on the list, but so I don't understand the motion, because I understood that all committees report to the board. So I don't find, so I'm opposed to the motion because I don't find it necessary. My understanding was that all committees report to the board, and that for this is kind of redundant, and it also locks us into certain limits. And what if laws change, then we have to come back and amend our policy file every time that there's a law change, with the limits increasing or decreasing or whatever it may be. So I don't support the motion because I don't feel that it's necessary. If we've already taken action as a board to get back involved into the SEIU California State Council, then I feel that we're back to where we used to be, when we were involved, and this is just redundancy, and I oppose it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, David.
Before we get up there, Colin Crawl was next.
Colin Crowell is the next one recognized by the chair.
Well, my question, I guess, is if this was to be passed, how are we going to prevent somebody from taking advantage of it and just, going off on their own and spending millions of dollars that our members have put into COPE on candidates that they like, but not necessarily good for SEIU Local 1000. I mean, the whole reason for COPE is to benefit the union. So I believe if you take that away and give it to just one person, that's going to be disastrous. Maybe not for Steve, but next person in line, you can't guarantee that they're going to do the right thing every time. So if you keep it in committee, bring it to the board, and then the board votes. That's how it should be. That's already how it's set up to be, as I understand it.
Okay, Cindy Doyle next.
The chair recognizes Cindy Doyle.
Okay, so first things first, when it comes to our policy file, we currently do not have anything like this in there that actually holds somebody responsible for how money is spent in the COPE committee. Now, for the last 4 or 5 years, I've been requesting at board of directors meeting a copy and a recommendation list before the board has actually voted, because they were not provided. So this is one of the only committees out there that has never had language in our policy file, and we need it badly. So that's what the COPE committee is supposed to do, is provide their recommendations and all their homework and their research to the COPE chair, so the chair can present it to the board. That's why we need this language in there, because as that exactly as Kroll, I'm sorry if I say his name wrong. Is it Kevin Kroll? Sorry.
Colin
Kroll. He's actually correct. We actually need the language in here so that we can actually have these funds approved by the board, so that we can actually vote on it as a board and know where our money goes, because we're financially responsible for where the money goes. Thank you.
Cindy Doyle, or probably
No.
Christine Abbott.
Yeah, the chair recognizes Christina Evatt.
I need, I think, clarification, because I'm reading this and it says that the COPE chair will give it to the statewide officers and board chairs upon a majority vote of the officers and board chairs. If you guys don't agree, then it goes to the board, correct? Is that how I'm reading this correctly?
That's what it looks like to me.
Okay, I disagree with this. I'd like to take it out to where it doesn't just go to the statewide officers and the chair, because of previous history with small groups voting to send large amounts of money to political groups or politicians, and then coming back and telling us later who it was going to. I think it should be, the board should vote on it all together, not a small group of people. And yes, I understand it's a voluntary fund, but I'd like to have it to where everybody votes, the board votes. And I'm not sure how you want me to say that, but there you go. Thank you.
Teresa Taylor.
All right, thank you. Teresa Taylor?
Yes, thank you. I'm in support of this recommended action. I understand where we're sitting right now is we're so far behind that we need to go ahead and make the recommendations and start supporting the candidates. And I believe in the next agenda item, we're going to see those candidates. But So I think it's very important that we are involved in the politics. I think it's also very important that the COPE chair and the statewide officers all agree. If they can't agree, then it can come to the board. But since we're in a short notice situation at this point, it's something that we should get on and make sure that we vote for. So I am in support of this. I understand where people are saying it should come to the board, but the COPE committee always made recommendations and it was voted on afterwards. And it looks like we're going to be voting on it. So I think it's coming up next.
Okay, we got a point of order.
Miche, you have a point of order. Please unmute.
I don't know if it's a point of order or point of information, but my question was to the motion is because if we vote on this in support of this motion, you're setting precedents. You're meaning he's going to always be able, the chair will always be able to, the COPE chair will always be able to make these decisions. You're saying it's an emergency or we are behind, but you're not saying that you're just going to get caught up right now. You're saying that you're setting precedents. So my question is, are we voting for president or are we voting to get caught up?
You're voting for policy file amendment.
You're voting for a policy file amendment.
And in that case, then this will be something ongoing and the board will be left out of it.
Okay, now you're entering into debate. So
I don't know.
Go ahead and get on the list for debate.
Okay,
Steve,
so next on the list, we got Jason Sandoval hasn't spoken yet, so go to him first.
Okay, so the chair recognizes Jason Sandoval.
Call for the question.
All right, the question's been called. It's a 2/3 vote to end debate. So please lower your hands. Ruth?
Sorry, I'm a little slow.
That's okay. I still have one hand up. Oh, no hand.
Miche, is that a new point of order or does she?
Miche, is that new or is that something?
Did she just not?
Did you just not put your X down?
I haven't touched anything. I haven't put up my hand. I haven't touched anything.
Okay, well, your hand's down now.
She's still got an X check for point of order. Let's just clear it.
Yeah, I'll clear that. All right.
Okay, we'll ignore it for now. So we got point of information.
Point of information with Sharonda Ward.
Hi, yes, thank you. I was just trying to understand what it is we're voting on, because everything that's being said, it's confusing. So is it, and I'm just trying to make sure I'm understanding. The way it's written, it seems like it's saying that the recommendation is made to the statewide officers and the chair, and they will vote whether or not to go forward with the recommendation as long as they're all in agreement or a majority is in agreement. And if a majority is not in agreement, then and only then it would be presented to the board. Is that correct?
Bill, can I answer that question? This is Stephen.
Well, okay, so just so everybody understands, we're on the vote to close debate, but since we're most of the way through this discussion, yes, Steve, go ahead.
Okay. The co-chair would make recommendation to the officers and the board chair on contributions to candidates who've been endorsed by Local 1000 or State Council. If a majority of the board of the officers and the board chair do not accept the recommendation, it can come to the board for a vote. There's also point number 4, where if someone wants to bring a motion directly to the board, they can. Doesn't have to go through this process. but this is for candidates who've been endorsed by Local 1000 or SEIU State Council.
Okay, so just to make sure, it's still, and this is what I'm trying to understand. I thank you, Steve, for saying that, but it's still say, and that's why I'm asking, just to make sure, because I do have to vote on this. Is it saying in that case, Stephen, that you just explained, it would be up to the statewide officers and the board chair to have a majority vote for or against before, if it goes against, only then would it come to the board. That's the clarification
I think.
that I'm trying. Excuse me, please. I'm trying to get an answer from Steve, clarification from Steve. That's what I'm asking Steve.
There is another option, point 4, that
Okay.
a board can endorse or can give a contribution by a majority vote. It doesn't have to be the other process.
Okay.
All right, so let's get back to business for a minute here. The chair recognizes Ruth with a point of order.
Colin Crowell was next.
No, I was just saying that last discussion was, I believe, to be out of order because we are in the middle of a vote, so.
It was, you're correct.
Okay.
I had my hand up, and see, now I'm going to have to agree with Michelle. That point of order was up before you guys called the question. I just did not get recognized. So for someone to sit there and say that, or be allowed to say that, is disheartening.
No, please stop the crosstalk, okay? We'll get through this.
Yes, Bill, but you have to be fair across the board. The young lady that just mentioned that should have been stopped ahead of time.
I am working at being fair across the board. And I agree with you.
Okay, on the vote to close debate.
So on the vote to close debate, all those in favor of closing debate, please raise your hand.
So we're not going to answer the point of question. Thank you for letting us know that, it's good to have a good parliamentarian.
$39 yes. Nope, pardon me, 40.
Okay, everybody, please lower your hands.
Actually, just change to 43. Go ahead.
I gotta lower mine. I still see hands. Clear your hands, please. Jerome, Kevin. There you go. Thank you, everybody. Okay, all of those opposed, please raise your hands.
This is the closing debate.
This is for closing debate, right?
Yeah. Four. 43 to 4, debate is closed.
So by a vote of 43 to 4, debate is closed. Everybody, please put their hands down.
There's 5 votes for that, so you may want to start counting correctly.
Yeah, one came in at the last minute.
All right, somebody came in at the last minute, so it's 43.
That was me. That was a mistake. My bad.
You're too quick with the hands. All right, everybody, hands down.
We got a point of order.
Thank you. Teresa, what's your point of order?
I just wanted to make sure that Mr. Kroll got to do his point of information that was up a long time ago, guys.
Well, they've been up and they've been down. Colin.
No, they were up, Bill.
It was up for a long time.
Okay, Colin.
So this gets back to being fair. My question is, why is it that you jumped over everybody in line and went to Jason to call the question? Because he could have called the question earlier and got on the board, but he didn't. He waited till the last second, and then Steve let him go ahead of everybody else.
We went to Jason because the others who had their hands raised.
I'm going to let Scott answer that because there was a reason why we did what we did.
We went to Jason because the others who had their hands raised, which was Stephen Alari, Colin Crawl, and David Jimenez, had already spoken. And under your rules and under Robert's Rules of Order, we always go to someone who has not yet spoken before we allow someone else to speak a second time. So Jason was the next person on the list who had not already spoken. So,
All right, so now we're on the motion. Colin, yeah, thank you, Colin. All right, we're on the motion. So, all in favor of the motion,
this is to adopt 3C as amended.
3C as amended. All in favor, please raise your hand. You got it, Scott.
24.
All right, thank you. Please lower your hands. I still have 2 hands up. Steve, Susan. Thank you. Oh, I still got 1. Who's up? Steve? All right, thank you. All those opposed, please raise your hands.
Stop it. Stop it. I'm not in the mood.
I don't know.
24, 26, motion failed.
All right, by a vote of 24 yes to 26 no, motion fails. Please lower your hands. I want to be respectful of everybody's time. It's a working night. And our staff has obligations that come. So with that said, if there are no, I've got hands up. Why do I have hands up still? Can I have hands down, please?
I put them already up there. I move to adjourn.
It's moving slow. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I understand.
I second to adjourn the meeting.
All right, well, let me get there. All right. So if there are no objections, we stand in recess until Saturday, the 18th.
Saturday,
I
21st.
move a motion
Oh, the
to adjourn the
23rd?
meeting.
I second it to adjourn, not recess.
Want me to explain
It's not the same thing.
Well, then let's say adjourn.
It's not the same thing. I move the motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second it to adjourn the meeting.
You have to be recognized.
Okay. You know what? We'll make this, let's go real simple. So all those in favor of adjourning the meeting, please raise your hand.
Yes.
We have 27 yes. All of those opposed, please raise your hand.
Oh, 1 second, lower the hands first.
Oh, lower your hands, yeah. I'm ahead of myself. We still have 2. Monica, is your hand up for a reason? Oh, thank you. All right, all those opposed to adjourning the meeting, please raise your hand.
Must mean something.
All right, by a vote of,
27 to, one just dropped off.
I think 20, we're going to call it 27 to 18. We stand adjourned.
And you're allowed to make any announcements you want before you adjourn, or we can just call it quits.
Yeah, so just real quick, I hope we can get through business a little quicker in the future. Thank you for being here tonight. It's greatly appreciated. We have a lot of work to do to move the organization ahead.
I have a point of information before we adjourn.
Yeah, I'll get to a point of information. Is that you, Cindy?
Yes, it is.
Go ahead, Cindy.
The difference between recessing and adjourning. Recessing means we can start on item 3C on Saturday. By adjourning, that means we've got to resubmit these or have them emergency additional items added on. So that's the difference between it, because now that means it's going to take longer to get through all the information on Saturday.
Okay, so we voted. Thank you, Cindy.
So no, again, let's not have crosstalk, please. So actually, that's not correct, and we will adjust the agenda accordingly. The real difference between adjourning and standing in recess is if you read the policy file, standing in recess allows me to interpret the policy file between meetings. While we stand in recess, the board maintains control over.
You said when you adjourn, you get to interpret the policy file.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we're adjourned, as the chair of the board, I get to interpret the policy file. By going into recess, the board retains control over interpretations of the policy file. That's the main difference. With that said, thank you very much. Have a great night. We stand adjourned, and we'll see everybody on Saturday.